HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. St. Mary's Food Bank feeds 250,000 people across Arizona every day. Your support is what makes it all possible. You never know who might be going hungry. It could be a coworker. It could be a friend. It could be your neighbor. When you give to St. Mary's Food Bank, you help make sure there's food for anyone who needs it. Plus, donations qualify for the Arizona Charitable Tax Credit, up to $987. Learn more at stmarysfoodbank.org. That's stmarysfoodbank.org.
If you're a fan of any sport on the planet, college or pro, then we are right where you want to be.
The place to come when you want to have too much fun.
Real sports fans need a sports book powered by Hard Rock Bet. Follow the money line to Twin Arrows and too much fun.
Twin Arrows.
The best indoor tailgate party in Flagstaff with massive HD screens, cold drinks, game time food specials, and best service is at Arrow Sports Bar. After the game, get back in the game at craps, blackjack, and slots. Now that's too much fun.
The place to come when you want to have too much fun.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Twin Arrows.
Empty slogans and cute jingles. Lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
This winter, step into a world of wonder at the Tianyu Lights Festival. Open now through January 4th at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, and Phoenix. Explore the 4 new themes: Bugs Aglow, Colors of Holidays, Rainforest, and Prehistoric Animals, which feature 70 glowing handcrafted lanterns. Enjoy delicious foods and beverages at our food court, explore the interactive lanterns, and complete your visit with a trip to the marketplace where you'll find unique souvenirs. Don't miss this unforgettable holiday experience. Tickets are available now.
Hi, I'm Aaron, founder of Custom Deluxe Windows. Wishing everyone a wonderful holiday season and an extra special thank you to the brave men and women in our military. If you need new windows or doors, call Custom Deluxe Windows today.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
That's right, the Tuesday edition of the lunch break right here. KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours. Producer Evan is on the other side of the glass. We're ready to take your phone calls today. 480-864-1060 is the phone number if you want to hop in and be a part of the program. Easy for us to choose where we start today's show. Yesterday, a little bit of a disappointing, frustrating, anger-inducing open to the program, needing to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. The complete 180 today. You feel positive, upbeat, excited, looking forward to hitting the daily special button because, yes, another game last night for the Phoenix Suns and another win on this road trip.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
A 115-101 win in D.C. moves the Phoenix Suns to 19-13 now on the season. Yes, they got to that 19-win mark that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, right? We looked at this schedule, and speaking of the schedule, I feel like I did things out of order here. Before we talk about the win, I got to add the win to the schedule here. What am I doing? Here we go. I'll show it to the camera for those of you watching on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. We've added another W to the list. As it was coming out of the NBA Cup, we looked at the schedule for the Phoenix Suns and we wondered aloud, could they get to 19 wins? Could they get close to the 20-win mark? Their win total in Vegas is 30.5. Some tough games against the Lakers, a pair of games against Golden State, but they had some winnable games in New Orleans and at Washington. That's exactly what they've done here on this road trip. 3-0 on this current, what is going to be a 4-game road trip. They'll play Cleveland tomorrow night to close out the month of December and to close out 2025. But they are 3-0 on the road trip, and they win this game last night without 3 players. They win the game last night without their second best offensive player. Jalen Green still remains out. They win the game last night without their best perimeter defender in Ryan Dunn. He was out last night. They win the game last night over Washington without their best rim protector, Mark Williams, suspended for a game because of the kerfuffle, Donnybrook, with the New Orleans Pelicans that led to a 1-game suspension. Jose Alvarado got a 2-game suspension, I believe, for his role in that altercation. But you win that game last night without your second best offensive player, your best perimeter defender, or one of your best perimeter defenders, and your best rim protector. Now put yourself in a time machine and go back to the beginning of the season when you were still on the fence about what this Suns team was going to be. You were, you know what? You weren't really
the alignment.
You weren't aligned yet with Brian Gregory and Jordan Knott and this iteration of the Phoenix Suns. You liked what they had done. You liked some of the pieces. You could see what the vision was, but you weren't sold because you hadn't seen it yet. You hadn't seen Jalen Green and Devin Booker play alongside one another. You're worried a little bit about how redundant they would be with one another. Dylan Brooks, you know what he's going to bring from an energy perspective, but is he going to make the team better? They trade for a injured, often not available Mark Williams. They drafted a center in the first round to go along with that trade. Would they have enough scoring? Would they be able to really be the defensive-minded team that they told you they were going to try to be? Take yourself back to that moment here as we open the show today. Put yourself back, let's see here, October 2nd, before the preseason began. If I told you the Phoenix Suns were going to have Jalen Green out, they were going to have Ryan Dunn out, and they were going to have Mark Williams out, how many games would you expect them to win? How many games, with that being the formula, would you expect the Phoenix Suns to be the victors in? Now, I get it. They played the Washington Wizards last night, a 7-24 basketball team. They didn't play Oklahoma City. They didn't play Denver. They didn't play the Lakers. They didn't play the Knicks or the Pistons. They didn't play the who's who of the NBA. They should beat Washington shorthanded or full strength. It doesn't matter. They are the better basketball team, no matter who's in and out of the lineup. They should win that game, and they should win it comfortably. I am not trying to give them all sorts of flowers for beating the Washington Wizards, but I'm just trying to prove a point that the expectations around this team have shifted as the year has gone on. Because how many games would you expect the Phoenix Suns to win when Devin Booker is the third leading scorer? Add the caveat to it that he's the third leading scorer and Jalen Green is not leading scorer number 1 or number 2. Dylan Brooks led the way last night. Colin Gillespie added the second most points, and Devin Booker was third last night in points. You had 3 players score 20+, and Devin Booker was third amongst those 3 players. How many games before the season would you expect the Suns to win if I told you that was the formula? That was the recipe. That's what the box score was going to say at the end of the night. Before the season, you would have laughed at me for saying the Suns win basketball games that way. You would have laughed at me if I would have told you that the Suns could win games with Jalen Green sideline, with Ryan Dunn on the shelf, with Mark Williams suspended, not being able to protect the rim, because those 3 pieces, those 3 players are key, central to what Jordan Knott and Brian Gregory,
the alignment,
told us this team was going to be. They were going to be great defensively. That's why they had to upgrade their rim protection. They were going to be better on the glass, why they needed to get somebody like Mark Williams. They were going to be better defensively. Ryan Dunn was going to see more opportunity to play, and they were going to get young, hungry scorers to add to this offense. Why Jalen Green was a central piece, not just because of the money, but a central piece in the Kevin Durant trade. Those 3 players not being available last night for the Phoenix Suns, they're key parts to their offseason, key parts to what they were trying to build, and they win. Yes, it was Washington. Yes, it should be a win regardless of who's in and out of the lineup. But last night, those players being out and them still winning relatively comfortably is another example of the more we've seen from this team. I think the more we're taking for granted the work that Jordan Knott and company are doing here to build a new, higher in some cases, floor for this basketball organization. The floor now is on a night where they don't have those 3 pieces. You expect them to beat Washington. You expect them to beat New Orleans in New Orleans. You expect them to win games on the calendar that maybe before the year were more coin tosses. Your expectations around this team have shifted, and you've taken for granted how well of a start. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. I think I'm victim of this as well, taking for granted what we are watching. We are watching a team that understood where they were at and hit the reset button in a major way. And they have, quicker than any of us have anticipated, gotten this thing back on the track. It's on the rails, and we are leaving the station. I don't know where the final destination is right now. I don't know where the next stop is for the Phoenix Suns. All I know is we're on the train. We're enjoying the ride. We're enjoying the views. We're enjoying the scenery. We're having a good time. And you couldn't say that about last year's team. You couldn't say that about the last couple years of Phoenix Suns basketball. You can certainly say it about this year's team. And they are ending 2026 on the highest note possible. And we'll talk more about Cleveland tomorrow and getting you ready for that game. But they could beat Cleveland tomorrow. Should have Mark Williams back. They can beat Cleveland. They can finish 2025 with 20 wins in their back pocket. This team, well on their way to being a postseason team. Well on their way of being a playoff team. And it's because of games like last night. Despite having those players out, despite being on the road, despite it being the third game of a 4-game road trip, despite you seeing, the calendar year turning to 2026, it's the holiday season. You may be distracted, lots of stuff going on. This team is remaining focused. They are remaining disciplined. And they are remaining a collective unit, and that's why they're able to win games like last night. Super impressed with what we've seen so far this season. And again, it's not overly impressive to beat Washington. I said to producer Evan in the pre-show meeting today, I think I could pick 5 people from this building, and we could be competitive against Washington. I don't think we'd win because they're professionals, but I think we could be competitive. That's how bad Washington is. 7-24. Going to be picking towards the top of the draft. You should be able to push over that team, lean on them, no matter where you're playing them, and win the basketball game. But to have the pieces out that you have and to still be able to do it, I think we are taking for granted just how quickly Jordan Ott has gotten everybody to buy into what this team is doing. And everybody seems to be willing to sacrifice for the greater good, the collective. And it is leading to results that I thought weren't going to come until the second half of the season. And they are coming early and often for this franchise.
And last year, this team missing a few guys playing in Washington, it's not a guarantee. Because we saw them do it up in Portland. And I referenced the games against New Orleans as similar to those Portland games. But this year it's different, right? Through adversity, they push through. That's kind of the feeling with this Suns team is just any given night, they could beat anybody. Missing a few guys, and I know you're playing Washington, and you said it best. We could put together a team of 5 guys to go compete and play Washington down to the wire. But it's not like the Suns won this in overtime or got a 2-point win. Never felt in doubt last night.
Right.
Never felt in doubt.
You were never concerned about the result of the game. And to say that with the pieces that were missing, I think just goes to show you how everybody is buying into what their role is on this team, what they are supposed to be doing, and they are thriving in those roles. And that is a credit to Jordan Ott. I think one of the best things that he's been able to do this early in the season is not just the wins, not just being 19-13. You clearly see that he has the buy-in from the players. You clearly see that the roles that he has designed for these players, they're comfortable in those roles, and they're comfortable in the on-the-fly adaptation that needs to happen, right? Colin Gillespie at the start of the season was viewed as, you're going to be the 6th man, you're going to come off the bench, you're going to be the energy in that second unit, and he's able to effortlessly start that game last night and score 20-plus points because he's comfortable in his role, no matter if he's drawing into the starting lineup, if he's coming off the bench leading the second unit. I think the expectations for these players are very clear. I think the coaching is very direct with these players. And I think one of the issues that Coach Bud had last year, one of a few, is you had a lot of egos that you were dealing with, but also a lot of the time you could hear it in the postgame. Guys didn't know what they were expected to do, right? How many times did Bradley Beal kind of give off this air of not knowing exactly what his role was when he was on the court with Booker and Durant? How many times did we come in here and talk about this team saying there appears to be some like deference by certain players of, we got to get the ball to Kevin Durant, and it just didn't allow everybody to be in the best position for them as individual players, but also in the best position for the team. Whereas this year, it's night and day. It is a complete 180. I don't question at all when a player's on the floor that they don't know exactly what they are supposed to do. They know exactly what their role is. So Mark Williams out. Oso's got to draw into the starting line. There's no question that he's going to know what he needs to do.
And I also think from a coaching standpoint, listen, they have a young team. They're going to make physical, they're going to make mental mistakes. But especially on the mental side, you're seeing them not do it 2 and 3 times. You would watch the same movie night in, night out last year.
Well, how many fourth quarters where they would just turn the ball over in the final 5 minutes that we see over and over and over again? And there was just never any accountability. There was never any apparent correction to the issue. Whereas with this team, yeah, they're going to make mistakes because they're young. It's a new group. And in fairness to Jordan Ott, how many games this season have they really had their full complement of players? It's not many. Of the 32 that they
20
played,
minutes?
Right, it's not many. It's 20 minutes of having everybody, 30 minutes of having everybody that they want to have, making this team work at, full 100% capacity. And so there is kind of this on-the-fly adjustment, but they seem to just handle it. They don't seem to be worried or fazed by it, and partly because I think the expectations before the season allow them to embrace these challenges, allow them to embrace it's not always going to look pretty. It's not always going to be our best. And because of that, I think they've succeeded quicker than any of us could have thought. They're off to a much better start than any of us anticipated. And you take games like last night for granted. They pick up the win now 19-13 here in the early stages of the season. I don't know where the journey's going to go. And honestly, I don't think it matters. I don't think the end result of this year matters. What you want to say, and we said this before the season, at the end of the year, do you feel like you got the GM? Do you feel like you got the coach? Do you feel like the franchise has turned it around and they're going in the right direction? I mean, I can answer that before we even end 2025. The answer is yes to all 3 of those questions. And you're seeing it night in and night out. And to me, anything that we get from here on out is house money. It's the cherry on top. It's gravy. This team surprises and they are the 6th seed or they're the 7 or 8 seed and they make the postseason and they get some home playoff games. That wasn't what this year was supposed to be about. Their 30.5 win total proves that to you. Nobody expected them to be in this position. So this is all gravy. This is all house money. And again, the positivity is they have not been the full, complete version of themselves for more than a game and a half this season.
And it feels as if this team is just bound to kind of continue to get better.
Yes.
And it just, and I know that's crazy because it feels like, wow, in the beginning of the season, you'd be like, hey, I hope they beat Washington. And now you're sitting in a spot where it's like, you go in, you handle business against Washington, right? It's a very different feeling than it was 2 months ago. But now you're in a spot where you watch this team play night in and night out. And by the end of the year, I think we could be seriously talking about the Suns as a contender for a 5 seed, a 6 seed in the Western Conference like they are right now.
480-864-1060 is the phone number if you want to get involved, talk about the greatness of the Phoenix Suns. Maybe you want to weigh in on some of the other topics. We are going to talk about the Cardinals, their draft positioning. We've got some Diamondback stuff to update you on. It is an Overreaction Tuesday. We've got that coming for you later this hour as well. But when we come back, it's the question that might save his job. So what's the answer? That's next, the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
The Lane Kiffin reinvention arc went from one of the truly feel-good stories in the game to him once again becoming public enemy number 1. I have no issue with him leaving. It's how he left, burning all bridges yet again. You strung Ole Miss along. You turned it into a complete circus, and then you were bent when they wouldn't let you coach them in the playoff? Get out of here with that. It's natty or bust for you at LSU, Lane.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
Florence and the Machine presents the Everybody Scream Tour. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Saturday, May 9th. The incomparable Florence and the Machine returns. With special guest, Mannequin Pussy. On sale now at livenation.com. The new album, Everybody Scream, available now.
Everybody scream.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At Zoo Lights, the Phoenix Zoo has everything you need to celebrate the season. Embrace the holiday spirit as millions of twinkling lights transform the zoo into a winter wonderland. With over 2 miles of glimmering tree-lined trails, dozens of animal lanterns, and the tallest floating tree in North America, featuring an all-new Lake Lights show. Warm up with s'mores, sip hot cocoa, and swing into fun at Glow Garden. Zoo Lights, presented by SRP. Timeless tradition, endless wonder. Get tickets now at phoenixzoo.org.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Wait until you hear the song that dropped about Tyler Shuck.
They getting shot tonight, they getting shot tonight, she getting shot tonight, they getting shot tonight.
Tyler Shuck himself singing, "We're getting shucked tonight." First of all, he's been playing great lately. And then when you see him roll with something like that and sing the song that was written about him, I got to admit, I like the guy so much more. So much more. And I got to admit, I kind of like watching him play too. I actually can't believe how watchable the Saints have been of late. Not just watchable, but competitive. And not just competitive, but dangerous. Never thought that I would say this. That might not be a team you want to run into right about now. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The Lowe's Closeout event is here with the final savings of the season. Grab amazing deals on seasonal decor, tools, flooring, and more before they're gone. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free standard shipping. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Free shipping excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to change. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
The Chiefs have had some really bad calls against them this year as well. I'm sure everyone listening is going to roll their eyes and say, well, the last 7 years the Chiefs have had great calls. Maybe they have, but there should be no makeups. There should be great refereeing or the best available refereeing every week. And in a lot of games this year, there's been a lot of bad calls. The Chiefs have been part of that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I believe there is one question that should determine Jonathan Gannon's future as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Just one. One question that if we can answer here together on this program, I think it tells us whether or not he should return as the head coach for this team next season. And that question is simple. What does Jonathan Gannon do well as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals? Because you look across the league right now, and there are coaches that you can put into different buckets, right? Different archetypes. You have the creative geniuses, and I'm not going to be able to name them all, just a few that popped into my head. You have Sean McVay, you have Kyle Shanahan, you have Ben Johnson, you have Liam Cohn, you have these creative geniuses. Yes, I mainly just picked offensive guys, but you have these creative geniuses, those four that I mentioned, plethora of other across the league, they changed the game. They force teams to adapt. They kind of rewrite the rules of the sport. There's the gritty culture guys. I think of John Harbaugh in Baltimore. I think of Dan Campbell in Detroit. I think of DeMeco Ryans in Houston. How about the coaches that have a track record of doing more with less? Mike Tomlin, the first name that comes to mind. Mike Vrabel, all those years in Tennessee, he got more out of that roster than they probably should have been able to get. Coaches that thrive in the fourth quarter in crunch time. They just have a great handle on 4-minute offense, 2-minute drills, calling the right plays, knowing when to use the timeouts, the situational stuff they're fantastic at. How about the coaches that make the in-game adjustments on the fly, understanding, hey, we came in with this game plan. It is not working. Scrap it. We got to do X, Y, and Z to get this team back on track. Those are the different buckets that I think you can put coaches in. And some, it's like a Venn diagram. They cross over, right? I don't think, Mike Vrabel is just a coach that does more with less. He also is a gritty culture guy. But you get my point. When I say a head coach's name to you, there's traits, characteristics, expectations that come to mind with those coaches. Which of those buckets does Jonathan Gannon fall into? Which of those archetypes, traits, characteristics does Jonathan Gannon have now that we've seen him for what is basically 3 full seasons? He is 15-38 as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I think I have that right. I saw a stat yesterday. He's 13-17 with Kyler Murray as his quarterback. He is 2-18 without him. So if we do that math, 15-35 as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Which of these buckets does he fall into? Is he a creative genius? Because he's got a defense that's 29th in points per game. So he's not revolutionizing the sport on the defensive side of the ball. He's not DeMeco Ryans leading a defense that creates turnovers at will. Heck, Atlanta's defense last night creating turnovers all over the place. Creating pressure. They have a rookie that leads them in sacks and a rookie that leads them in interceptions. James Pierce, Xavier Watts. I don't want to steal the NFL news dump, but pretty entertaining game last night on Monday Night Football. Not a creative genius. Doesn't have the bona fides with his defensive scheme that's forcing offenses to adapt. Is he the gritty culture guy? What traits from the coaching staff have rubbed off on this team, the players, that you identify with every single week? Are they a gritty team that runs the football hard and they're always going to fight for 4 quarters? Is that the traits that you would come to expect with the Arizona Cardinals? Think about when you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, what you expect. Think about, at least over the last couple of years, when you play the Detroit Lions, what you expect. When you play Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, what you expect to see on the other side of the ball. What's the answer to that question for the Arizona Cardinals? It's a whole lot of nothing. Do I need to talk about crunch time and fourth quarters with Jonathan Gannon? Do I need to redo that rant of the fourth quarter leads that this team gave away early on in this season that completely derailed any chance they had at making this season something? Jonathan Gannon doesn't fit into any one of those buckets because so far through 3 seasons, he has shown not a single one of those traits. Not a single one of those characteristics. He doesn't do anything well through 3 seasons. And I don't want to hear about injuries. They are known on this program as the Honda Civic. Do we want to go through the injuries that the San Francisco 49ers have had this season? Without Brock Purdy for how many games? Didn't have George Kittle for how many games? They are a Super Bowl favorite. They could win the NFC West. They had their quarterback miss. How many games did Brock Purdy miss in the middle of the season? Was it 6? 5 or 6 games he missed? Starting quarterback. Team's got double-digit wins. They're playing for the division this weekend. I don't want to hear about injuries being an excuse. I don't want to hear about not having your quarterback be an excuse. Houston, they kept their season alive when C.J. Stroud was out. San Francisco, as mentioned, kept their season alive.
Brock Purdy has only played 8 games this year.
Thank you. 8 games this season Brock Purdy's played. They're playing for a division on Saturday. They are potentially the favorite in the NFC if they win the division, and all roads lead through San Francisco. That team might be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear about injuries. I don't want to hear about not having your quarterback. Those are excuses. Those are crutches. And they are crutches and excuses for a coaching staff and a head coach in particular that doesn't have a whole lot else going right for him. Because the answer to the question that I posed at the top of the segment is nothing. Jonathan Gannon, through 3 seasons, has shown he does none of those things well. Are his teams gritty with a great culture? There are question marks about whether or not he's lost that locker room. The effort on Sunday, questionable. A creative genius, a defensive-minded coach that has watched his team give up truckloads of points this season. Cincinnati didn't get to 40, but they got pretty close. And there have been 40 spots put on them all season long, 29th in points per game allowed on defense. One of the worst defenses in the sport. Defensive-minded guy. That side of the ball should be relatively strong. It hasn't for Jonathan Gannon. So we don't have grit. We don't have culture. We don't have a creative genius reinventing the game on the side of the ball that he's a master in. We're not great in crunch time, fourth quarter. What adjustments have we made? Point to a game this season where the Cardinals made an adjustment on the fly and it led to a win. They only have 3 of them, so it's hard to really look at those 3 games. But I can see a lot of games where this team's come out unprepared. I can see a lot of games where this team's come out undisciplined. A lot of games where this team, well before halftime, is out of it. Game is over. That's on coaching. That's on preparation. That's on the game plan and not being able to adjust in real time. So when Michael Bidwell sits down at the end of this season and he makes a decision on the future of Jonathan Gannon, and that decision may come this week. He may firmly make his decision this week. He may be marinating on it still. But the end of the season is this Sunday. Monday is when we're going to see a lot of these moves be made, and the Cardinals may be joining the whole host of teams that will be making changes on Monday. If that's the case, I think Michael Bidwell is going to be answering one question and one question only. If I keep this guy around, it's because he does something well. What is it? What is it that is keeping me from moving on from this head coach? What is the trait that I can't quit? I can't move on from this guy because he has blank. What is the blank? Finish the sentence. Unfortunately, I think for Jonathan Gannon, it's almost impossible to complete the sentence. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, a trade, it may not happen. So then what? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Shohei Ohtani had 2 home runs, 2 doubles. They also walked him 5 times, 4 intentionally. They've gotten to the point where he's getting Bonds treatment. I want you to pitch in shame. If you're going to intentionally walk him, I want you to throw the 4 pitches that look silly because you don't want to face him. I don't want it to be, hey, we're going to walk him and I point him to first base. Nope. I want you to acknowledge that you can't get him out and you throw those 4 pitches.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
For over 50 years, they redefined rock. The spirit lives on.
Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson celebrate 50 years of Rush 50-something tour, December 1st and 3rd, 2026, Desert Diamond Arena. Tickets are on sale now at rush.com. Legends don't stop. They evolve. Rush.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey guys, if you have low T, it's time to get your edge back. Start testosterone therapy at Red Mountain Weight Loss and get a month of GLP-1 weight loss medications absolutely free. That's a $299 value. Listen, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone restores your get up and go, so you'll feel like you're 20 again. Get more muscle with less effort in the gym. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. It's a game changer. And if you're looking to lose weight, there's nothing like the combo of testosterone and a GLP-1 medication. It'll burn that belly fat and get you ripped. This month, get free GLP-1 medication, a $299 value, when you start testosterone therapy only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Book your video appointment today. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone. Keyword Red Mountain. Time to get your edge back at Red Mountain Weight Loss.
At Zoo Lights, the Phoenix Zoo has everything you need to celebrate the season. Embrace the holiday spirit as millions of twinkling lights transform the zoo into a winter wonderland. With over 2 miles of glimmering tree-lined trails, dozens of animal lanterns, and the tallest floating tree in North America, featuring an all-new Lake Lights show. Warm up with s'mores, sip hot cocoa, and swing into fun at Glow Garden. Zoo Lights, presented by SRP. Timeless tradition, endless wonder. Get tickets now at phoenixzoo.org.
Wrap up 2025 with ASU women's basketball right here on KDUS AM 1060. Join the Ladies Sun Devils as they hit the road again, this time to take on Utah. ASU and head coach Molly Miller have dominated on the court this season and look to do the same against the Utes. Join Jeff Munn on the call live this New Year's Eve. It's ASU versus Utah this Wednesday. Pregame at 1:30 p.m. and tip-off at 2 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can watch the show over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. And after thinking it was basically a foregone conclusion that Ketel Marte was going to be traded, it is starting to feel that with each passing day, we might need to confront the reality that Ketel Marte is going to stay with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I can think of worse things than the Diamondbacks needing to keep their perennial MVP candidate, best second baseman in the sport, somebody that could very much help them in 2026 be relevant, win a bunch of baseball games, be in the wild card mix late in the season. There are worse things to happen to a sports franchise than not getting the trade offers that they were looking for and needing to keep a very good player. I mean, that we would accept that as a fan base. I think everybody would be okay with that being the case. But if that's what happens here, what does the rest of the offseason look like? Here's what the Diamondbacks have done so far. Brought back Merrill Kelly on a 2-year deal. They signed Michael Soroka to maybe be their 5th starter, be the swing man, be the long reliever coming out of the pen, make some spot starts. Not really sure what his role is ultimately going to be. I think as of this moment, I would consider him one of the 5 starters. We'll see how the rest of the offseason in spring plays out. And you brought back James McCann to be your backup catcher. Played really well when he was given the starting role with the rash of injuries that the Diamondbacks had to their catching position. He's a veteran backstop, should be able to help Gabby Moreno out. Good for clubhouse morale and leadership, being that veteran. Love that signing. Doesn't cost a whole lot. Good move for the team. But that's it. That's all they've done so far as 2025 comes to a close. Still have to decide what your first base situation looks like. Have to decide who's playing third base, who's starting in left field and center field. Is your rotation good as is, or do you want to add another starter? Will you add to the bullpen? And how much room do you have in the budget to do all of those things, or at least to attempt to do all of those things? Fangraphs currently has the Diamondbacks payroll for next season as $168 million. They had their last year final payroll at $188 million. Do they have enough room to solve these issues. If they don't trade Ketel Marte and move his $15 million that he's owed next season, do they have enough money to address all of these issues via free agency? It's kind of a rhetorical question. The math tells you that the answer is no. The math tells you that 188 last year, 168 right now this year. You know the budget's going to come down. It's $20 million just to get to that number from last year. If it's going to come down, do they have $5 million? Do they have $10 million to work with? So if Ketel Marte stays, they probably have enough money to add a relief pitcher, and they'll need to go internal elsewhere. Marte stays, you're probably looking at first base being some combination of Pavin Smith, Tyler Locklear, and Adrian Del Castillo, right? Some combination of those three guys at first base. Third base, I would assume if they're going to look internally, they are going to give Jordan Lawler every opportunity to be the everyday third baseman and to start there and play there every day and get regular at-bats so that they can finally put to bed this will he or won't he narrative, and he can just play and we can all find out together. It's either he's going to sink or swim. It's going to work or it's not. He's either the top prospect and he lives up to that billing or he doesn't. But the only way you answer that question is by him playing every day. So in this world where Ketel Marte stays, their budget is a little tight, I think Jordan Lawler's playing third base. Left field, I thought he played well when he was given a chance to play every single day. I think Blaze Alexander is your starting left fielder. Then at center field, some combination of Alec Thomas or Jake McCarthy. I know that doesn't really get everybody all that excited. Maybe you flip one of those guys to get a starter. Maybe you flip one of those guys to get a reliever. How about this for a second? How about you keep Ketel Marte, you trade Thomas or McCarthy for a reliever, maybe not a super high-end reliever, but somebody that can fill in towards the back end of your bullpen, and you go sign Harrison Bader to play center field. And so you have Blaze in left, ton of athleticism, ton of speed out there in left field. Harrison Bader is going to be one of the best center fielders defensively that you're going to see in the sport. And you got Corbin Carroll in right field. I love your defense out there. Bader provides speed. He can steal bases, plays good defense, is going to crush left-handed pitching. It's going to be a great just spark plug for exactly the way the Diamondbacks play baseball. And I think he's a name we've invoked in the past here on the program. So that could be your outfield. Your infield, maybe you platoon over at first base. Marte's playing second. Perdomo's over at short. Lawler's at third. Gabby behind the plate. That can be your team. But if you keep Ketel Marte, your wiggle room is very limited. That is not me making the case for them trading Ketel Marte. It's just an acknowledgement of the reality if they choose to keep him around. They are going to have to get creative elsewhere. And I think all of the things we listed on the grocery list, they're not going to be able to do them all via free agency. And so maybe that's why they're okay with free agency coming and going, because they understand they're not going to be able to attack every single market possible to address what they need to address. To me, they need a closer. They need another starter. They need to add a bat to the outfield. Those, to me, are the non-negotiables going into next season. You trade McCarthy or Thomas to get that reliever. You sign Bader to add the bat to the lineup. Maybe you can trade for another starter or somebody shakes loose that you feel like you can bring in as a reclamation project to be towards the back end of the rotation. But that's it. That's really the only way they can do this, I think, if they keep Ketel Marte, because the budget's going to be tight.
It just shortens what you can do from an option standpoint. And looking at it from keeping Ketel Marte's, point of view, what move do you honestly make other than Kepler? Because you probably can't bring in Bregman. And if you do bring in Bregman, what does that really help me? I still need an outfielder.
You're saying Marte out, Bregman in?
No, I'm saying if Marte's out, I still feel like I fill both of those holes. I get the outfielder probably, and maybe it's not Harrison Bader, but I probably add a reliever as well.
I would love Harrison Bader.
And then you could add Bregman. But if it isn't Marte out, and there's a real possibility they could still add Bregman, how does that help you actually?
Well, I mean,
it doesn't at all.
Well, it adds another bat, and what I think ends up happening, let's just live in this fantasy world for a second, because I think it's a fantasy world. I think if any of you out there think they're keeping Marte and signing Bregman, I don't know what you're using as your proof that that's what they're going to do, because they told us that the budget's going to come down. This would be explosion of the budget. I mean, the budget would just be astronomically large for this franchise.
It would have to be the largest in team history.
If you do that, if for some reason we live in that world where Marte stays, Bregman's playing third, your outfield is Jordan Lawler in left and Blaze Alexander in center. Your outfield is Lawler, Blaze, Corbin Carroll.
And at that point, you're trying to think of outfielders available that I think you could bring in. Max Kepler?
I think Harrison Bader is tailor-made to be an Arizona Diamondback. I think Harrison Bader plays exactly the way Torey Lovullo wants his team to play. And he would fit right in with the way Perdomo plays. He would fit right in with the way Corbin Carroll plays. He would fit right in with the way Gabby Moreno plays, Jordan Lawler plays, Blaze Alexander plays. And for all the concerns that you have about Ketel Marte's play style and being in and out of the lineup, if you surround Ketel Marte with more guys who play hard, unfortunately, I think that I shouldn't say unfortunately. What I think happens there is it lessens the impact of Ketel Marte playing the way that he plays because you have more guys to kind of cover for him. Now, maybe that makes players more angry. I don't think so. I think they just kind of work around Ketel Marte at that point because he's a great player when he's in the lineup. If he doesn't want to play every day, they got a bunch of guys who do want to play with their hair on fire. And I think that just becomes the identity of the team regardless of Ketel Marte. So that's why I think Harrison Bader makes a ton of sense because he fits right in and it would work. But you're then, if you go with the Bregman route, and again, I don't see a world where Marte and Bregman stay and they're both on this team. You got Blaze Alexander and Jordan Lawler in the outfield, and those are big question marks. Blaze did not play a ton out there. Lawler's been playing it in Winter League, but that's it. And we know, because somebody asked over on YouTube, how long do you experiment with him? And I'm assuming that question was about Lawler. I didn't see the comment while I was talking. I'm assuming it's about Jordan Lawler. I think Lawler needs to play every single day. I think he needs to be given every opportunity to get as many at-bats as humanly possible. And for me, I would want that to be in the lowest pressure environment possible. I don't want him learning a new position.
Hitting ninth, playing third.
Right. I want him bottom of the order, playing a position he's comfortable with, rather than, hey, you're going to be our sixth hitter and you're playing left field. Like, that's a lot of pressure on him that I don't think helps the situation. Now, if he gets off to a hot start over there at third, he's playing well over there at third, and you want to start using his versatility in left, you want to start moving him up in the lineup, then we can start to have those conversations. But to me, you need to put him in the best position to succeed. And I think the best place for Jordan Lawler to start next season is at third base, hitting in the bottom third of the lineup. That to me is where you are going to be able to get him started and give him all of the chances in the world to succeed here at the big league level. Because what you can't do is put him in the lineup, put him out of the lineup, and do the back and forth, to quote The Office, snip, snap, that you did with him last year when you called him up. In the lineup, off for 4 days. In the lineup, off for 4 days. Can never gain rhythm. I said it at the time. You got a player who probably since he was in high school has played every single day everywhere he went. It's an adjustment. It is an adjustment at the big league level to play and then not play. They did him no favors. So I want Jordan Lawler playing a position he's comfortable at third base, and I want him playing every day. But if this team chooses to keep Ketel Marte, I just don't know how much room they have to add. Maybe they can add somebody in center field. To me, we know they want to upgrade there. Sign Bader, trade Thomas or McCarthy to get a reliever, and you at least check two of the three boxes I think you need to address this offseason, which is a bat to your lineup and a reliever.
They're 52 days from playing spring training games.
52 days. I don't know who's closing baseball games. I don't know who's playing the two outfield positions. I don't know who's playing third base. And I don't know if I love the rotation. It's a lot of question marks.
A lot of holes.
And this is coming from the guy who thinks 2026, they can make some noise.
And they have one clog that isn't working that would start the entire offseason for them.
Right, which is why I hope that there is a deadline that they set to go back to what we said yesterday. I hope they have a deadline, and I hope they stick to that deadline because I would hate to see a Harrison Bader leave or a Max Kepler, to use the name that you invoked, to leave in free agency, go someplace else, and you can't capitalize on adding offense, adding power to your lineup, adding another bat to lengthen this lineup so that Jordan Lawler can hit 7 through 9 and you feel comfortable about it. Lots of moving parts here, and it all stems from Ketel Marte. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, it is an Overreaction Tuesday. How about this? I got a team going from worst to first. I got a team being one and done in the postseason. And you know what? I'll leave the other one a mystery. It is our overreactions to what we saw in Week 17, and they're next here on the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Start your new year off right with NAU men's basketball right here on KDUS AM 1060. This Thursday, the Lumberjacks travel to Missoula to square off against the Montana Grizzlies. Head coach Shane Burkhardt knows his team can deliver on the road and is ready to earn NAU another win. It's NAU versus Montana this New Year's Day. Pregame at 3:30 p.m. and tip-off at 4 here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy-winning comedian John Mulaney announces his new tour, Mr. Whatever. Celebrity Theater, Friday, March 6th. Tickets on sale now at etix.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hi, Jan from Toyota here to let you know that Toyotathon is on. And what better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like RAV4, Grand Highlander, and Corolla Cross. But to really get in the spirit, let's sing about it. So without further ado, driving through the snow in a new RAV4, hooray. To the slopes we go in a Highlander for a ski day. A Camry to get hot cocoa, tubing with a Tundra makes the kids go loco. Oh, what fun it is to make holiday wishes come true. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey! Presto, a new holiday classic. Let's sing it again. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details.
Have you guys tried these holiday cookies? They're so good.
Toyota, let's go places.
James out west.
7 teams to decline a bowl game. I feel like we shouldn't be able to do that.
Certain teams, I can understand. Notre Dame, you're a top-notch team. You have a lot of recruiting you need to retain. I kind of get that. Temple, what are you doing? Who are you to be turning down bowl games? What major recruits are you losing that are in off-season mode at Temple? There should be some parameters around that, but the season is officially over. Like, these are invitations. You can decline an invitation. So I see it from both sides.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here to wrap up hour number 1 of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. It's our time for some overreactions here in Week 17. Yes, we can still overreact to what we saw in Week 17 of the regular season, and I think I've got a trio of some good ones this week. I think this is going to get the people going. Is it my turn to go first?
It is your turn to go first. I'm excited to see what you got.
Which one do I lead with?
I think you finish with your strongest.
You want me to finish with my strongest? Okay, I think that one's the strongest one. I'm going to leave that one for last. How about this? We'll go one that I think is trendy right now, so it may not be that much of an overreaction. The Saints will go worst to first next season in the NFL.
In the division?
They will go from being the worst team, because that's where they are right now. Although I think there's a world where, because they're 6-10, Atlanta is 7-9.
They could pass.
So I don't know how the tiebreakers work. I'm not up to date on the tiebreakers between the Saints and the Falcons. So I don't know if they can actually pass them. But if they do pass them, then this won't apply. But for the moment, it's true. They've rattled off 4 straight wins. They have been central to this NFC South debacle between the Panthers and the Bucs, because they've beaten them both here during this 4-game winning streak. They also beat teams that, let's face it, are not very good in the Jets and the Titans. So showing that they can handle business against those teams, you feel like they've got the coach. You feel like they've got the the quarterback, at least for next year. They're not going to be in a position to draft a quarterback. So they're in a spot to give Tyler Shuck. You've now informed me that there is a growing movement among Saints fans, Thunder Shuck, which I don't know if I want to get on board with, but maybe I will. The coach is going to be able to now put his fingerprints on this roster in Kellen Moore. He got there in year one. He's got to figure out who he wants to build around, who he doesn't. Now he's going to be able to kind of clean up the mess. And, oh, by the way, this division is trash. So that helps. Saints going worst to first.
It's not a crazy overreaction, especially with how the Bucs have played.
Now, I am saying that a 6-10 football team that has won 4 in a row at the end of the season against 2 of the worst teams in football is going to win the division next year. I think that's where it becomes a little bit of an overreaction.
But it took, 9 wins to win the division? You're playing a last-place schedule?
You know what? Didn't even have that in my notes. You're playing a last-place schedule next year. Great job by you. That's what I'm leading with today.
My first one. Tyler Huntley will win the division for the Ravens before Lamar Jackson will lose their first playoff game.
Tyler Huntley will hold on. He will.
So they beat the Steelers with Huntley next week.
Do we know Lamar's status is up in the air?
It is.
But it's been up in the air since the Nixon administration because it feels like every week we do this where we wait.
I would doubt he plays.
Okay. So Tyler Huntley, former Pro Bowler, put some respect on his name,
will win the game this week. Then they'll go in as the 4 seed. I believe they would have to currently play the Chargers.
Chargers would travel to Baltimore.
And that's right now. If the Chargers lose because Denver needs the game next week, they could lose.
Buffalo needs the game as well. They want to try to win some seeding
and
points.
they will lose to whoever they play, whether it be Buffalo or whether it be the Chargers or Houston.
I know you probably have this in the news dump, but Justin Herbert's not playing for the Chargers this week.
Yes.
So
the thought is they will be the 7th seed then. Which would then move the Texans all the way up to the 5.
Which feels weird if you're Harbaugh and the Chargers to just kind of give up on seeding. Feels like a very odd thing to do.
As the 7 seed, you go to New England. As the 5 seed, you go to Baltimore or Pittsburgh. It's a huge difference.
I don't want to go to New England and face the MVP of the league.
No, I don't either. He just accounted for like 9 touchdowns.
You know what I would rather? You know what I would rather do? Oh, you can't really do this. You can't beat Denver and get the 7 seed to play them again. You can't do that because nobody has the tiebreaker. You see what I'm saying? Beat Denver so that they fall out of the number 1 spot,
and so you can play Denver again.
But you can't do that because
if you beat Denver, you're the 5 seed.
Right? You have too many tiebreakers.
But either way, you should win this game because.
How did we get here?
Just go play Pittsburgh.
This is not your overreaction. How did we get here?
Is Tyler Huntley's going to win this week and then lose the playoff game?
If they play the Chargers, I think I would take the Chargers in that playoff game. Although you would have to take the Ravens.
I would.
Which would be a little bit of that would be a tough call for you.
It would be very tough.
My second overreaction, the Rams will be 1 and done in the playoffs. I'm out on the Rams. Since destroying the Cardinals a couple of weeks ago, here's what they've done. They had to rally to beat the Detroit Lions, who are out of the playoffs. They lost to Seattle. And then they lost last night to the Atlanta Falcons.
And they lost to Seattle in a game where Sam Darnold threw a pick down, 16 on the goal line. It was like, wrap it up. And they lose that game.
You had to rally against the Lions. You lost to a division rival, and then you lost to Atlanta.
And you looked really bad.
And Matthew Stafford looked like he forgot how to play football. The third interception, he threw directly to Xavier Watts.
Outside of a blocked field goal return for a touchdown.
You did nothing in that game.
You were not in that game. The score and the outcome is very different.
All right.
Compared to how
you got to do yours quickly because I have to get to this last one. No, I'm rushing you because I took too long.
The longer he continues to struggle, the more likely a Marvin Harrison trade becomes.
Oh, this isn't an overreaction at all. I think, are full blown in the offseason talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. trade possibilities. Yeah, I think so. You ready for this?
Yep.
The Raiders shouldn't take a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick.
Wait for Arch.
Well, no, I know why you're saying that. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm saying their roster is not ready for a rookie quarterback.
No, I would draft offensive line help, or I would draft.
No. How about this? You trade down.
Yeah.
You trade down and get a whole host of picks for somebody who wants to pay the quarterback tax, and you build out the rest of this roster. How many cornerstones do the Raiders have? How many cornerstones?
Max Crosby.
Max Crosby may not be there with the way the season ended.
My last one. The Lions have missed their Super Bowl window.
Oh, this is a good one. I like it. I think I agree with you. I think the window's gone. And this is why you can't lose to San Francisco when you have a big lead in the second half. That's why you should kick those field goals. I'm just kidding. You know how I feel about that. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. A jam-packed hour number 2. We got buy or sell at the top of the hour. We got the NFL news dump. We'll talk about the Cardinals draft positioning. We've got the leftovers. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
The Maricopa County Air Quality Department encourages everyone to burn cleaner, burn better. Consider converting your existing wood-burning fireplace to gas or electric. And please remember, on no burn days, do not burn wood.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Ringo Starr and his all-star band. With friends, Steve Lukather from Toto. From Men at Work, Colin Hay. From Average White Band, Hamish Stewart. Friday, June 12th, 7:30 p.m., Gamage Auditorium. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Danny Zalesko Presents.
One study found that half of all clients are unhappy with their lawyer. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
That's why we survey our clients and know over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. This winter, stay warm and safe. Our complete heating tune-up is just $159.95. And if you have gas, we'll install a carbon monoxide detector for free. Carbon monoxide is the invisible killer, sending thousands to the ER and killing hundreds in the U.S. every year. Get peak efficiency, avoid surprise breakdowns, and protect your family. Make the precision decision today and call 602-FIX-MY-AC.
Hi, I'm Aaron, founder of Custom Deluxe Windows, wishing everyone a wonderful holiday season and an extra special thank you to the brave men and women in our military. If you need new windows or doors, call Custom Deluxe Windows today.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2. The lunch break right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert hanging out with you today on the program. We got producer Evan behind the glass. Ready to take your phone calls, 480-864-1060. Little buy or sell to open up hour number 2 of the program. The hottest takes in the Valley. We got off to a good start yesterday on the show. Short week for us. We're off on Thursday. So today, tomorrow, off Thursday, show on Friday. A lot going on, but we miss a day of buy or sell, so we really got to keep this train moving here.
We're just moving forward.
That's right.
And we'll start with the Cardinals need and should draft offensive line help in the first round.
Well, yes, if the draft was today, I would buy this take. Here's why I side the way that I did. I think they need 3 offensive linemen. You can't just You can't just sit around and wait for the draft and just say, hey, we're going to take one of our 3 starters that we need to get on the offensive line. We're just going to draft one of those guys. You're going to have to make some moves in free agency. And so I do feel like there is a world where they may sign a couple of guys and they might not need to draft an offensive lineman with right now what would be the number 5 pick in the NFL draft. They can let the board come to them. You can't just sit around and wait. They have too many needs across this entire team, but specifically the offensive line. I think there are 2 starters that I feel comfortable saying should be on the 2026 roster. Yoda Froholt and Paris Johnson Jr. That's it. I got 2 guards and a right tackle. I can't wait for April to hope that at number 5, there's a tackle on the board that I like. And are you really going to take an interior offensive lineman with a top 5 pick? Not really what you use those types of selections for.
Feels like it needs to be a tackle.
So I think they're going to sign a tackle, a bridge tackle before. They're going to sign somebody like a Jonah Williams on a 1 or a 2 year deal, and then maybe double dip in the draft.
And if I like who I have sitting there at 5,
if Spencer Fano is there at 5, I take. There's a mock
it's a good plan.
Mock draft today that had the Cardinals doing exactly that.
And listen, I couldn't get over how many mock drafts didn't have them taking an offensive tackle.
I went off on there was one, I forget. I think
we did a full segment on
one mock draft. I think it was an athletic one that had Spencer Fano going to the Rams with the next pick. Can't let that happen.
Cannot
let that happen.
Brian Gregory has won the trust of the fan base even before the trade deadline.
Oh, he's won my trust for sure. I'll buy this take for myself. I always caution against speaking for the listeners, but I do feel with the feedback that we get anytime we talk Suns, I think the fans are bought in. Dare I say it? The fans?
The alignment.
Aligned with Brian Gregory.
They're aligned with Brian Gregory.
I mean, because pick a move. And there's one move that I think people are a little suspicious about. But they brought back Colin Gillespie. That looks like a home run. Traded for Mark Williams. Might be their second best player. Made sure Dylan Brooks was a part of a Kevin Durant trade. Is this team where they're at right now without Dylan Brooks?
They've brought in the players to change the culture.
And every player that they brought in to change the culture has immediately paid dividends. Now, the one criticism, and I'm starting to get on board with this being louder and louder, they drafted somebody in the top 10 who is not playing right now. It's troubling.
The Maluwatch pick looks worse by the day.
And it only looks worse because he's not playing. And he didn't play last night. He played 1 minute. Checked in at the end. 1 minute last night. They didn't have Mark Williams. You feel like, we said this, if they trade Nick Richards, you feel like that's the path for Maluwatch to be the third center and get time. Last night, they only had 2 centers. It was the perfect chance to get him more of a run. It didn't happen.
ASU should start a different quarterback other than Jeff Sims in the Sun Bowl.
Are you asking this question because you want to see somebody who might be able to contribute next year?
Yeah. My thought is know what you have, right? Like throw a quarterback out there, see what he has. Jeff is done. And out of respect, I think they'll give it to Jeff because of being the backup here for 2 years, stepping into the role he had to. But he's not here next year. He's out of eligibility.
I hear you. Bowl games aren't about next year. Bowl games are a celebration of the year that was. And I think it's a really bad look if Jeff Sims doesn't get an opportunity to play in that game. So, no, I wouldn't do this. I hear you. It's a compelling argument. But what I think trumps it is Jeff Sims helped keep this season on the rails and keep this season alive. He deserves the opportunity to stay with this program and start a bowl game.
I don't disagree. It's an interesting conversation, I think.
It's short-term versus long-term. If you just cared about the long term, then yes, you would start somebody else. But imagine the message you're sending to the rest of the room. That's why you don't do it. Just not a good look.
It feels inconsistent of what Kenny's done as well.
And I think it's inconsistent with the way any coach would run their program. You reward the team that got you to the point of playing in the Sun Bowl. Jeff Sims starts.
The D-backs will make one surprise move before the start of training camp.
What are we defining as a surprise move?
Start of spring training. What are we defining as a surprise move?
Define surprise move for me, and I'll begin to answer this.
Like, okay, we've talked about adding an outfielder,
Alex
Harrison Bader.
Bregman is no longer a surprise move.
No, yeah. So we've talked about Bader. We've talked about like adding relievers. This would a surprise move to me is adding an infielder that isn't Bregman, or adding a starter, frontline starter.
Trading for Mason Miller would be a surprise move.
A surprise move.
Do I think they have that type of move in their back pocket? By the way, nor do I think San Diego would trade Mason Miller within the division. So that's not going to happen.
I can't believe they're actually entertaining trading him again.
Well, they have to get rid of their payroll. Their payroll is through the roof, and I think they're going to try to attach a contract to Miller and get prospects back and try to shed some money. That's what I think they're going to do.
Feels like the most likely outcome.
There was a big mega deal being thrown out between them and the Mets, and it was going to have the Mets take on either Bogarts or Pivetta or one of the big deals that they had on the books that they needed to get rid of. Do I think there's a surprise move? Yeah, it's Mike Hazen. He's always due for one. He's good for one of these a year.
They always do something.
Yeah, I think there'll be one.
Like, I was surprised at Josh Naylor last year.
I mean, obviously the surprise move of last year was signing Corbin Burns to a 6-year
Yes.
contract, but I think he's good for one of these a year. And I think when you go down the trade route, that's where there's more opportunity for you to be surprised at what the Diamondbacks are able to pull off. So, yeah, I think there's one.
The Texans will be in the AFC Championship game. As their path currently...
I was just going to say, this is where you tell me what their path would look like. Thank you.
This is exactly where... I'm ready. Currently, they would head to Pittsburgh. Could be
so
Baltimore.
They would draw the 1 seed side of the bracket?
Yes, and then you would play... Unless the Bills get a win.
Because we reseed in the NFL, right?
Because we reseed in the NFL. So if the Bills win, then you would end up playing New England. Or I guess they would beat New England, so you would go to Jacksonville. To me, the Texans are the second best team in the AFC.
I agree. We did this yesterday, and I agreed with you. But just because they're the second best team, they don't have that path to the AFC Championship game.
They either go to Denver to play Denver in the second round.
Hold on. Is there a path for them to win the division?
Yes.
They need a win and a Jacksonville loss?
A win and a Jacksonville loss would win them the division.
That's what they got to hope for if they want this to be true.
Because if you win the division, you're the 3 seed. So you were talking about Buffalo going to Houston.
I've seen this movie. Seen it once before this season. Didn't go well for Buffalo.
It hasn't in years. Remember, they played them last year in the regular season. Didn't go well for Buffalo.
I'm trying to pull up the clinching scenarios for this week.
Yeah, don't pull them up.
Why? Is it gonna confuse me?
No, it's just it's the news dump.
Oh, never mind. Didn't see him. I have him up here, but I won't. News dump coming up next year, though. The lunch break. Sorry, continue.
It's the news dump.
Sorry.
All right, I got another football one for you. Daniel Jones will be on a different team next year.
Daniel Jones. You know what might happen? This is more of a baseball thing. You'll be familiar with this. This is more of a baseball thing, but I could see a team doing it. You know how guys coming off of like Tommy John surgery, they hit free agency, and teams give them a 2-year deal
just to get that second year.
They get the second year. They pay for them basically to rehab with them, and then they get the second year. I could see a team doing like a 2-year deal with Daniel Jones, where they pay him to be in the building. Maybe he's able to come back in the latter part of the season, although that's probably a stretch. But then you have him on the books for next season.
And I know this sounds crazy. What if New Orleans, you give Shuck another year?
I like that a lot.
You bring him in on a 2-year deal, and then if it doesn't go well, now we have Daniel Jones to start.
You know who should do this too?
Atlanta?
Minnesota. Atlanta's quarterback room is a disaster. I want to talk.
Here's my take. I was talking to my brother on the phone.
Are we going to talk Monday Night Football in the news dump?
Yes.
Then I'll save it for the news dump. My thoughts on Atlanta.
But I want to. My brother and I talked about this yesterday. The college game has failed the NFL so bad. Clearly, the NFL does not believe that anybody coming out of college can play in the league anymore. It's the reason the Colts are calling Phillip Rivers. It's the reason. We'll get into Monday Night Football. I'll start it. Kirk Cousins can't play.
They won the game last night.
And they run him out there. It's like, if you don't believe any college quarterback could do what Kirk Cousins did, the NCAA is failing the NFL.
They won the game last night, too. By the way, Kirk almost threw a pick on the drive where they kicked the field goal. He threw it. There were 3 Rams defenders. I didn't see a single Falcon receiver in the area, in the zip code of that throw. It was bad. But they won the game. I don't know.
Yeah, they won the game.
I think a team could look at a 2-year deal for Daniel Jones where they're basically paying him a decent amount of money to be a non-factor for them, but you're doing so under the idea of having a quarterback on your roster for, what would that be, 2027? I could see a team doing it. 2-year deal.
Yeah. Minnesota's a good one. New Orleans.
Like, would you give right now, if you're Minnesota or New Orleans or you're Atlanta, would you give Daniel Jones a 2-year, $35 million contract right now?
Yeah, probably.
Because, yes, you're paying him $17.5 million to not play for you this year, 26. But if he was a free agent and was healthy, he would probably get $35 million a season. So you're basically paying the $35 million for that 1 year in 27, but you're spreading it over 2 years in a way to help you, right?
It makes too much sense.
This is a great idea by you. I'm disappointed I didn't consider it because I love when baseball teams do this move. Sign him to the 2-year bridge contract.
That's all I got.
Okay. I don't want to steal any of the NFL news dump topics because I have plenty of thoughts on last night's game and the clinching scenario. So I'll just use this as a chance to tease that. Up next, we'll talk about Monday Night Football. We'll talk about the clinching scenarios in the NFL and the rest of the news from across the football world. It is the NFL news dump, and it is next here on the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Sticks. The hits. Live at Celebrity Theater. Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th. With special guest Max Gomez. Tickets on sale now at celebritytheater.com. A trip through all their best. Don't miss Sticks Live. Produced by Danny Zalisco Presents.
If you're a fan of any sport on the planet, college or pro, then we are right where you want to be.
The place to come when you want to have too much fun.
Real sports fans need a sports book powered by Hard Rock Bet. Follow the money line to Twin Arrows and too much fun.
Twin Arrows.
The best indoor tailgate party in Flagstaff with massive HD screens, cold drinks, game time food specials, and best service is at Arrow Sports Bar. After the game, get back in the game at craps, blackjack, and slots. Now that's too much fun.
The place to come when you want to have too much fun.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Twin Arrows.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. When we talk about the best front offices in football, conversation usually centers around the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Lions. One franchise keeps getting left out of the spotlight. The Seahawks, guided by GM John Schneider, quietly built one of the sharpest operations in football. His resume already included the Legion of Boom, but his latest act, more impressive. After Pete Carroll's departure, he nailed the hire of Mike McDonald, found a winning quarterback in Sam Darnold, and crushed this year's draft. He traded for Rashid Shaheed and he has added a burst to the offense, and he has watched Jackson Smith-Njigba grow from promising to elite. The results are impossible to ignore. Seattle 10-3, second best odds to win the Super Bowl. That rise is not a fluke. It's the product of a front office operating at the highest level. And John Schneider and the Seahawks deserve their place in any conversation about the best team builders in football. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Start the year with a splash of flavor. Heartland Steakco's Reef and Beef Package combines juicy steak and fresh seafood for the ultimate celebration. With the Reef and Beef Package from Heartland Steakco, you will be feasting on Maine cold water lobster, jumbo USA sea scallops, 16-ounce USDA choice ribeye steaks, and 8-ounce filet mignon, delivered straight to your door. Don't wait long, because the Reef and Beef Package from Heartland Steakco will not be around forever. So treat yourself or pick one up as a gift for family, friends, clients, or anyone who loves that true Midwest taste. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteaksco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus $26 off with promo code NEWYEAR26. Give the gift of flavor this year with Heartland Steakco. That's heartlandsteaksco.com, promo code NEWYEAR26. Taste the Heartland difference.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
The Lane Kiffin reinvention arc went from one of the truly feel-good stories in the game to him once again becoming public enemy number one. I have no issue with him leaving. It's how he left. Burning all bridges yet again. You strung Ole Miss along. You turned it into a complete circus, and then you were bent when they wouldn't let you coach them in the playoff? Get out of here with that. It's natty or bust for you at LSU, Lane.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
We're back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Surprised we're still on the air. During the break, producer Evan came in here to talk to me about something. He grabbed one of the microphones in the studio. It completely fell off. Pieces flew everywhere. I was concerned. It shocked us both when I went to pick up the piece of equipment. We're on the air, right? Everybody can hear us here today on the program on KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the app.
It was a mess.
It was a mess.
I'm not blaming it completely on me.
No. I don't think it was your fault at all, because that microphone's done it to me. It just hasn't done it to me in a while. I thought I had it fixed, but it appears we're operational. And so now that means it's time for the NFL news dump here on the program. It's 12:15-ish on a Tuesday. The top stories from the world of the NFL. How many more news dumps are we going to have?
It's a good question. I mean, we did them in the offseason.
Right, but we didn't do them. I think the news dump started when training camp began.
I think you're right.
Like, I think all the way up through the postseason we could do it. We could do it the month of free agency. We can do it leading up to the draft. After the draft, though, news dump might come to an end.
You might have to take a brief hiatus
until
OTAs.
Until OTAs and training camp.
Yeah, because you can't get a news dump without a holdout.
Right. What news dump are we? It'll be an emergency breaking news edition.
Remember when this news dump was just about Micah Parsons?
Yeah, it was literally, there was a month stretch where every single news dump was just the latest on Micah Parsons. And I stupidly was like, he's not going anywhere. They're not going to trade him.
Monday Night Football. The Rams go into Atlanta and just lay an egg. A 27-24 win for the Atlanta Falcons, and that doesn't really tell the story. The Falcons were in control of this game for pretty much all of it, and they were able to pick off Matt Stafford 3 times, one of them being a pick six.
I mentioned my thoughts on the Rams side of this earlier when we did Overreaction Tuesday. I want to focus on Atlanta right now. Is Raheem Morris keeping his job with the way that they're playing here down the stretch?
I got to be honest with you. That shouldn't be true. It might be.
The way you felt about Mike McDaniel in Miami, it's kind of how I'm starting to feel about Raheem Morris in Atlanta.
But at least Mike McDaniel has made the playoffs before.
Right, and there's a lot that I don't like about Atlanta. I don't know who's playing quarterback for them next season. They've got a great running back. They got two great running
But
backs.
like even again, like at the end of the game, and I like Algier. I'm the biggest Algier fan. Come on. I know he doesn't fumble.
As somebody who is playing Bijan Robinson in the fantasy championship and holding on to a victory, was very happy to see Tyler Algier for those 3 runs.
I mean, come on, guys. That's what we're doing.
Well, you know what it was? It was playing not to lose. It was playing not to make a mistake. And they did it on the kickoff, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talked about it. They kicked it through the end zone. They didn't force a return to run some time off the clock. It was playing not to lose. It was, I'm in position to make a field goal. I'm going to give it to the guy I know is not going to fumble it. We're going to kick a long field goal. We're going to have the lead, and we're going to trust it, not trying to play for the 15, 20, 25-yard gain that they rattle off. They can run the clock down to 3 seconds, kick the field goal, and walk it off. It was playing not to lose. It was coaching scared.
And you can run it 3 times and you can still run the clock. And I don't know.
They ran the ball 3 times. Tyler Algier got nothing on any of the 3 carries, and they kicked the field goal.
And it's not like Bijan has a massive fumbling problem.
Shout out Zane Gonzalez. Forks up.
Go Devils. But yeah, long story short, Atlanta gets a win. Rams enjoy Cancun in 2 weeks.
Wow. I mean, I did say they were one and done. I just didn't phrase it the way you just did. But yeah, they will be enjoying.
6 weeks ago, people thought they were the best team that had ever graced a football field.
Me.
And this is a colossal fall apart.
They'll be sipping some pina coladas on the beach sometime soon.
I hope they have a nice vacation.
Because they're going to have to go on the road. And
3 times.
It's
crazy. I was looking at it this morning in our morning meeting. And they have the second best odds to win the NFC. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's all 3 NFC West teams. Seattle obviously won. They currently hold the 1 seed. Then it's the Rams. Then it's the Niners. The Niners are playing for the 1 seed next week.
Honda Civic.
And they don't have a better odds. And the Eagles are 4th.
Oh, right now I would take the Honda Civic over the Rams. Right now?
Certainly. Give me the Eagles over the Rams. Give me the Honda Civic over the Rams. Give me Chicago over the Rams.
When we talk about the 49ers sometimes, I imagine somebody in their car turning over to 1060 for the first time, and they're hearing us refer to a football team as a Honda Civic. Now, I know the P1s, the everyday crew, they understand what we mean. We understand what we mean. But I envision somebody in their car, potentially a Honda Civic, going, why is this man talking about my vehicle like it's a football team? It's just the thought pops into my head every time we bring them up.
It's reliable.
But it is the most perfect representation of what they've been as a football team this year. So we're going to continue to refer to the San Francisco 49ers
as the Honda Civic.
As the Honda Civic.
All right. The clinching scenario, speaking of the Honda Civic, they're back on the road, moving forward, and trying to get a week off. No more driving for the Honda Civic if they're able to win this week. Seattle and San Francisco play their game this week, all for the rights to the 1 seed in the NFC.
It's always good when your scenarios for winning a division or getting the 1 seed are as simple as you winning. And that's the case for Seattle and San Francisco. They win, they clinch the division, they clinch the 1 seed, they get the first round bye, and they get home field advantage. And can you imagine, you know where the Super Bowl is this year?
It's in San Francisco.
So San Francisco wins this game on Saturday. They beat Seattle. They win the NFC West. They will never leave the state of California.
I just want to be very
on the road
clear.
To a Super Bowl.
The NFL is definitely rooting against San Fran this week. They do not want only 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl.
Right. So that's the clinching scenario on Saturday. Looking forward to that.
Both teams have the inside track to the 1 seed. I guess technically you would give it to Seattle because in a tie scenario, Seattle gets the 1 seed. Okay, moving on. This was supposed to be...
This is my favorite. This is my favorite of the scenarios. If you're talking about the Panthers and the Bucks, this is my favorite thing that we're going to get to watch this weekend. My favorite. Because
this was supposed to be a winner-take-all game.
I saw somebody mention it on Twitter. This is the most NFC South thing of all time.
It is. It's so NFC South.
The Bucks can win the game and still lose the division to the Panthers.
So if the Bucks win the game, they would be 8-9 and would need an Atlanta loss
And Atlanta lost.
You would need New Orleans to win and beat the Falcons to win the division. And for Carolina, you either win the football game or
You root for Atlanta.
you root for Atlanta. It is I hope it's 3-8-9 football team
Yeah, we end the season with 3, 8, and 9 football teams.
in the NFC South.
That's what the NFC South deserves.
Welcome to the NFC South.
I love that both of those games are standalone on Saturday. I love that I'm going to get to sit down and watch those games without worrying about other stuff going around.
Is that the second game?
That's the first game. Panthers-Bucks is the first game at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN and ABC. And then the nightcap is 49ers-Seahawks. That's on ESPN and ABC. That's 8 Eastern, 6 for us out here.
That's awesome.
On the West Coast.
Yeah. In the AFC, the Denver Broncos will get the 1 seed.
They have a lot of pathways to this.
And home field advantage, they have a few pathways. So they can win, and they get it.
That's easy. Just win the football game
and you get it.
Trey Lance and the Chargers, and you win the division. You know what?
If
you lose the game to Trey Lance and the Chargers, how about this? You don't deserve the 1 seed.
No.
You deserve to have to go on the road to New England at the end.
If they do lose, they need a New England loss and a Jacksonville loss. New England plays Miami. Jacksonville plays Tennessee. And if both those teams loses, Denver still gets the 1 seed.
For New England, it's just the reverse. They need a win and a Denver loss, or they need to tie and Denver to lose.
Houston plays Indianapolis this week. They can move up to the 3 seed and win the division and get home field.
That's right.
If they win and get a Jacksonville loss.
Oh, I need Tennessee, big-time Tennessee fans. So are the Cardinals. Cardinals, big Tennessee fans over the weekend.
Huge Titans fan. The Jags, we just went over it. They can win the division with a win versus Tennessee. They can win the division. They have a chance at the 1 seed, by the way. So if they win, Denver loses to the Chargers and New England loses to Miami. Congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They'll have home field in Duval. And a win or tie, they clinch the AFC South. A Houston loss to Indianapolis, they also do so. The New England Patriots can get the 1 seed.
I just said this. You're going to repeat something I just said? I just said if they win and Denver loses, they're the 1 seed.
Perfect. Got it.
You said Denver. I went to New England. You went to Jacksonville. I thought we were going to go to Baltimore and Pittsburgh now.
We are.
That's simple.
I'm just reading the article. I'm just going team by team on a clinching paper here.
See, here's what I thought we were looking at the same thing. I have the Ian Rappaport official release, and we were going in order. You said Denver, I said New England, you said Jacksonville, and then you were talking about Houston. So the next thing up is Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Yep. That's on me. That's on me. We're on different sources here.
Yeah, my apologies.
Here it is.
Baltimore, Pittsburgh, win
in the only true winner-take-all game this week.
Win and you're in.
Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Win, you win the division. Lose, you're out. You win the division, you get home field against the 5 seed in the AFC, which is TBD, to be determined. You get to host a home playoff game.
There you have it. The news dump for Week 18 in the NFL, the clinching scenarios, a recap of Monday Night Football. Should be a lot of fun action for us here over the weekend with there's not a ton out there up for grabs. All the playoff spots are locked up, except for the winner of the AFC North. But seeding and who's going to have home field advantage, and it can be the difference between winning and losing and going on that run to a Super Bowl. So still a lot to play for this weekend in the NFL. When we come back, these losses, they're helping the Cardinals in one regard, but they're still coming up short. That's next, the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
The Chiefs have had some really bad calls against them this year as well. I'm sure everyone listening is going to roll their eyes and say, well, the last 7 years the Chiefs have had great calls. Maybe they have, but there should be no makeups. There should be great refereeing or the best available refereeing every week. And in a lot of games this year, there's been a lot of bad calls. The Chiefs have been part of that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Chicago Sticks, the Windy Cities Tour. Finally, 2 iconic bands together for the first time. September 1st, Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Chicago and Styx. All the hits. Your kind of tour.
This winter, step into a world of wonder at the Tianyu Lights Festival, open now through January 4th at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, and Phoenix. Explore the 4 new themes: Bugs Aglow, Colors of Holidays, Rainforest, and Prehistoric Animals, which feature 70 glowing handcrafted lanterns. Enjoy delicious foods and beverages at our food court, explore the interactive lanterns, and complete your visit with a trip to the marketplace where you'll find unique souvenirs. Don't miss this unforgettable holiday experience. Tickets are available now.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. This winter, stay warm and safe. Our complete heating tune-up is just $159.95. And if you have gas, we'll install a carbon monoxide detector for free. Carbon monoxide is the invisible killer, sending thousands to the ER and killing hundreds in the U.S. every year. Get peak efficiency, avoid surprise breakdowns, and protect your family. Make the precision decision today and call 602-FIX-MY-AC.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Shohei Ohtani had 2 home runs, 2 doubles. They also walked him 5 times, 4 intentionally. They've gotten to the point where he's getting Bonds treatment. I want you to pitch in shame. If you're going to intentionally walk him, I want you to throw the 4 pitches that look silly because you don't want to face him. I don't want it to be, hey, we're going to walk him and I point him to first base. Nope. I want you to acknowledge that you can't get him out and you throw those 4 pitches.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m., right here on KTUS AM 1060 and the KTUS 1060 app.
The one good thing coming out of all these losses for the Arizona Cardinals and the help that they're getting elsewhere, their draft position improving by the week. They now hold a top 5 pick in the 2026 NFL draft, sitting at the number 5 spot as we enter week 18. They could move as high as number 2 by the time things are all said and done, could fall as low as 7, it looks like. They're 3-13. They've got 2 4-12 teams behind them. So if they win and they get to 4-13 and those teams lose, their strength of schedule hurts them. The Cardinals does, mainly because they play in the NFC West, and that would move them back. I don't anticipate that being a problem because I don't expect them to beat the Rams on Sunday. And so I expect them to just lose out. That would keep them in front of the teams at 6 and 7, meaning they would stay at number 5. But that's the one bright spot. They're moving up the board. Unfortunately, they're not moving up the board enough. At number 5, they're still in a really bad spot. There's one quarterback that we know of that's going to be available at the top of this draft right now, and it's Fernando Mendoza. The other 2 that are widely speculated as potential first-round quarterbacks, Dante Moore and Ty Simpson, still have yet to declare their intentions for the 2026 NFL draft. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with they're focusing on trying to win a national championship. Both still in the college football playoff right now. That's taking precedent over any decision about declaring for the draft because they can do that once the season is over. Even if both declare, let's say Mendoza we know already is in, Dante Moore declares, Ty Simpson declares. Mendoza's probably going to go number 1 to the Raiders, even though I don't think it's the right thing that they should do with their franchise. The Jets are picking number 3 right now. They're going to want one of these 2 quarterbacks, either Moore or Simpson. That leaves 1 left over. And teams are going to call the Giants at 2 right now. And teams are going to call Tennessee at 4 for a quarterback. So if you're the Cardinals, if you're a Cardinals fan, you're rooting for the Giants to beat Dallas. You're rooting for Tennessee to beat Jacksonville. And you're rooting for the Cardinals to lose because that's your way of moving up into the top 3. And if all 3 of these quarterbacks declare, you are in a position to get one of them. Now, if you get the Jets to beat the Bills, good luck with that. That could be your pathway to move up to number 2 if you get everything else. Then you're certain to get Fernando Mendoza and or Dante Moore or Ty Simpson. But all of it really leads to the Cardinals being in an awkward spot because how many of those results are you really going to get? You're not getting the Jets beating the Bills. The Jets are probably the worst team in football. The Bills are still playing for something. They're playing for seeding. Even if they play backups, I think it's a better football team than the Jets. So you're not going to get in front of them. So even if the Giants win, the Jets are going to move up to 2. If they get the tiebreaker, you're going to be stuck behind the Jets still. And that's the team you really need to be in front of because that's another team that's looking at a quarterback. It's leaving you in a really awkward spot. And it's a spot where the most likely outcome right now for the Arizona Cardinals is that they're going to be in the market for another bridge quarterback. Either via free agency or them trading for somebody. Drafting a quarterback in the first round probably, as they sit here at pick number 5, probably should be off the table. Discussing quarterbacks for the options for this team at number 5 shouldn't be a thing. I don't think they're going to be in striking distance. Maybe if all 3 declare, it doesn't look like all 3 are going to declare. So the Cardinals probably out of that mix, and that might be a good thing. I don't know if Dante Moore or Ty Simpson are ready to step in and be a starter for the Cardinals with the expectations of needing to win games. I don't know how well that would play out for the team anyway. They could get a bridge quarterback like Malik Willis. And by the way, need to apologize. Yesterday I said they would need to trade for Malik Willis. He's a free agent at the end of the year. They could just sign him. So he's an even more attractive option because all you have to do is throw money at the problem. You don't have to trade draft capital. And we know Monty probably doesn't love to trade his draft capital. You just have to sign Malik Willis. Unfortunately, that means everybody can be in the mix for Malik Willis. And what does that price tag ultimately look like? Maybe you trade for somebody like an Anthony Richardson. Tanner McKee maybe is available. How about these 3? I found a trio. Producer Evan, let me know what you think of this trio of free agent quarterbacks that the Cardinals might be interested in. This is really going to get you excited for next year. I know. How about Joe Flacco? How about Kenny Pickett, who's a free agent? How about Jimmy Garoppolo, who's a free agent? Those are some of the options that are out there for the Arizona Cardinals. And so I want to lay a prediction out there here way ahead of time. Before the season's over, before we see free agency, before we see where the Cardinals finish with the draft, what I think the most likely scenario is. This staff's going to come back. Jonathan Gannon's going to be the head coach. They'll probably make some changes at coordinators, especially on the offensive side. Don't know what they'll do defensively, although I think they should. I think they might give Nick Rallis another year. I think they should move on, but they might give him another year. Change at OC, keep the head coach, keep the DC, keep the GM. They'll keep Jacoby Brissett on this roster. They'll sign or trade for another vet, either Malik Willis. They'll get somebody like a Jimmy G or a Kenny Pickett or somebody like that that fits what they want to do offensively with whoever their new coordinator is. Then they'll draft a quarterback on day 2. Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier as their young quarterback. To no pressure to play, is QB3, can learn from Brissett and Garoppolo, can learn from Brissett and Pickett, can learn from Brissett and Malik Willis, and can just be there as your QB3. If the season goes sideways, maybe you play him in the latter stages of the season, but you don't put any pressure on a young kid to play right away. That's what I think the future looks like for the Arizona Cardinals. And I get it. It's not sexy. It's not flashy. Not going to make you think they're going to win a ton of games next season, but that to me is the most likely scenario for this team. I don't think a trade for Joe Burrow, a trade for Lamar Jackson, I don't think any of those moves are going to happen. I don't think a Kyler for Tua swap is something that makes a ton of sense. I think you bring in Tua, you have some of the same limitations you had with Kyler. There's the health concern with Tua, just like there was with Kyler. You worry about Tua being able to see the middle of the field. All those questions still remain. So I think you're swapping problem for problem, and you're not actually getting any better. That's what I think the future looks like for the Arizona Cardinals. Not in a position to take Mendoza or Dante Moore. Stuck in a spot where they're going to have to get another bridge to compete with Brissett, and maybe they take a swing on a quarterback on day 2. That's what this quarterback room's going to look like. That's what this team's going to look like next year. And so maybe it's okay to run it back with this coaching staff because by the midway point of next year, you're going to want to move on from them anyway. That's what I think the future looks like. Joe Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kenny Pickett, maybe Tanner McKee as the quarterback options for this team next season.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it will be.
I can feel the excitement from your voice after I outline that for everybody.
There are guys I'd be more excited about. Malik Willis, if you gave him a full chance to start after learning in a Packers offense, okay, that's something. Hey, let's see what he has.
Let me give you a couple of names.
I know who Kenny Pickett is.
Let me give you a couple of names that I think would be intriguing and would definitely give me more excitement than Kenny Pickett or Jimmy Garoppolo would. Joe Flacco, obviously. Malik Willis is one. I'm sorry. I think the talent is there. I would call Indy to see if they would give up Anthony Richardson. I know it's an unknown, and I know it's a ton of raw talent, but if you get the right OC, if you can get the right offensive coordinator, I just think there's so much upside, and there's more upside. Name me a player available this offseason, and I'm not talking Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson because I don't think they're available. Name me a quarterback that's available this offseason, either via free agency or trade, that has more upside than Anthony Richardson. Can you name one? Can
Probably
you name
not.
one that has more upside than Anthony Richardson?
Probably not.
So that's why he's intriguing. So Malik Willis, yes. Anthony Richardson, yes. And if this report is to be truthful, if the Giants are actively considering taking Fernando Mendoza, then I would call about Jackson Dart. I would see, because they may bring in a new head coach that doesn't want Jackson Dart, may like Dante Moore better, may like Fernando Mendoza better. They want to hit the reset button at the quarterback spot. If you can trade for Jackson Dart, isn't he more intriguing than some of the options we just mentioned?
Now, do we know if they are?
Well, right. That we are a ways away from that being a reality, if it is to be a reality, and I don't think it is a reality. I think in spite of getting the best head coach for the job, they may get a head coach that just loves Jackson Dart. They may make that a priority. Instead of getting who they think is the best candidate for the job, and even if that candidate says, I want to move on from Jackson Dart, they'll take a coach that loves Jackson Dart and wants to work with Jackson Dart, even if they're not the best candidate available.
That's what I think.
I mean, I've told you, I've said this prediction on the show. I would just hire Cliff Kingsbury out of Washington and pair him with Jackson Dart and just flourish. I think that's a match made in heaven between a coach who has worked with a bunch of young quarterbacks.
Knows the division,
has worked in a system that is similar to what Jackson Dart did well in college, would be able to learn from his failings as a head coach the first time. I know it's a big city. I know it's a big market, but I think Cliff is ready to handle himself after the disaster that it was his time here in Arizona. But Malik Willis, Anthony Richardson, Jackson Dart, all intriguing options. All options that could be available. But that's what you're looking at. That's what your future is. Keeping Jacoby Brissett, getting a bridge with some upside, getting a bridge that maybe has a higher ceiling that you can maybe tap into if you get the OC hire right, and you'll take a swing on a quarterback on day two. That's where it stands right now with this team picking where they're at. They are not in striking distance, even with a top 5 pick. They are not within striking distance of the quarterback market. Most likely outcome, run the staff back, change out the OC, get a bridge quarterback with some upside, draft a project on day 2. Get your version of Tyler Shuck.
Feels like the most likely scenario.
Will that work? Will that lead to enough progress next year? Will that lead to enough wins and results to keep this coaching staff around? I'm not sure about that.
And that's the conversation we keep having is if you're going to go bridge guy, you still feel like you need to be in win now
and that's why,
to keep JG's job.
And this is why I would move on from the head coach. I would bring in somebody new. I would give them a bridge with some upside so that they can work with that player in year 1. And then if it doesn't work, you can pull the ripcord and you can take somebody in 2027, which is a better draft class. And if you have another bad year, people are going to be more tolerable. I'm going to be more tolerable of a bad year next year if you reset it, coach, and you reset it at the
starting over.
I can accept another 3-14 season. I can't accept a 5-6 win season with this coaching staff that you bring back next year. It's not going to be good enough. And you're just going to be stuck in this death spiral. This cycle of dysfunction that you have to get out of. And to me, the way out is to move on at the end of the season. If you don't, I've told you what your future looks like. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've got one more before we are out of here today on the program. It is all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show. Call the leftovers. We'll get to them next. It is the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Wrap up 2025 with ASU women's basketball right here on KDUS AM 1060. Join the Ladies Sun Devils as they hit the road again, this time to take on Utah. ASU and head coach Molly Miller have dominated on the court this season and look to do the same against the Utes. Join Jeff Munn on the call live this New Year's Eve. It's ASU versus Utah this Wednesday. Pregame at 1:30 p.m. and tip-off at 2 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
A night you don't want to miss. Avenged Sevenfold. Good Charlotte. North America Tour 2026. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. August 27th. Avenged Sevenfold. Good Charlotte. An epic night of music. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Avenged Sevenfold and Good Charlotte, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Hi, Jan from Toyota here to let you know that Toyotathon is on. And what better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like RAV4, Grand Highlander, and Corolla Cross. But to really get in the spirit, let's sing about it. So without further ado, driving through the snow in a new RAV4, hooray. To the slopes we go in a Highlander for a ski day. A Camry to get hot cocoa, tubing with a Tundra makes the kids go loco. Oh, what fun it is to make holiday wishes come true. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey! Presto, a new holiday classic. Let's sing it again. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details.
Have you guys tried these holiday cookies? They're so good.
Toyota, let's go places.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger, in my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus, branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
Start your new year off right with NAU men's basketball right here on KDUS AM 1060. This Thursday, the Lumberjacks travel to Missoula to square off against the Montana Grizzlies. Head coach Shane Burkhardt knows his team can deliver on the road and is ready to earn NAU another win. It's NAU versus Montana this New Year's Day. Pregame at 3:30 p.m. and tip-off at 4 here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Wrapping up today's edition of the Lunch Break before we hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. We do it in the only way we know how, with all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show. We call it the leftovers. Producer Evan, what do we have here today? We covered a lot.
We did. Now, we do have some stories we did not get to in the news dump.
Oh, and there's one in particular that I know that you really want to talk about.
Well, we'll start with Riley Leonard going to start for the Colts
in Week
18.
I'm happy for Riley Leonard. I'm just upset that this run for Phil is over. You know?
It was awesome.
It was fun.
And he didn't play poorly.
No. He did not embarrass himself.
Not at all.
How about this? You ready for this? I think he helped his Hall of Fame case.
I actually do too.
They didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't win a game.
Helped his Hall of Fame case by doing what he did.
Too.
So in 5 years, I think he's helped his Hall of Fame case. I think this is something that is going to help him get in.
It is crazy, though, that in 2030, that's when he's going to be into the Hall of Fame.
That's when he's going to be eligible again, yeah.
It's going to be with guys that you're not going to really affiliate with his era.
You're going to be like, he did not play with that guy. Well, why? Then you'll be like, that's right, those 3 games in 2025.
It's going to be awesome.
That sounds like a headline straight out of like COVID era sports.
Yes.
But here in 2025, we have it happening.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for Riley Leonard to get his opportunity. I am upset that
sad it's over.
I'm sad that the Phillip Rivers
Cardinals can bring him in next year. As a bridge quarterback.
You think a team gives him a call?
Yes, I certainly do. Actually, not to be the starter, but maybe a backup.
I mean, Because please, Philip, if you're listening, do not take offense to this. He was not in the best of shape.
No, and he was pretty good.
So if he gets in shape,
I'll look right now
of how many teams would want Philip Rivers as their backup.
Well, I just want to give you the official number on what he did in his 3 games. 0-3, completed 63% of his passes.
Better than Caleb Williams.
Threw for 544 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks.
For somebody who hadn't played in 5 seasons and was sitting on his couch, I mean,
I just want to
can you ask for better than that?
His Pro Football Reference page, arguably the funniest of all time. Indianapolis in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Did not play, retired, St. Michael Catholic head coach. That's
right.
What it says.
He's a high school head coach. Just comes out of retirement.
And then 2025, 3 games.
It's just it's sports, man. It's why when people ask me why I love doing what I do, it's because we get to talk about things like that. I mean, it's just incredible.
The Cowboys cut Trayvon Diggs.
It's just a bad day for the Diggs family in general.
This morning. I will tell you on the Trayvon Diggs part of this Diggs family. Like 3 years ago, people were like, "Oh, he's the best corner in football."
Yeah,
football.
And he was not.
He stinks.
And Stephon Diggs has himself into some alleged legal trouble that I don't know what's going to come of it. Apparently, there's reports of a settlement being made, but there were some charges that were filed against Stephon Diggs this morning that led to do that. We'll let the legal system play those out.
Not for us to talk about.
It's something that happened. 2 bad stories for the Diggs family today. That's all.
Just long story short, tough day.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic expected to miss 4 weeks with a hyperextended knee.
And that's good news because it looked bad.
That from where we thought it could have been.
Right.
That was best case scenario.
When you see something like that, you're expecting months, if not the whole season.
In that 4 weeks, by the way, the Suns do not play them.
So not getting any benefit if you're the
not getting any benefit.
Next time they play Denver is hold on, I got you here in a second. The next time they play Denver is
late in the year. It's not till March.
March 24th. They play Denver. It's their next meeting with Denver. They played them a lot early.
They did.
They've played them twice already.
They split?
They lost both.
Lost both. Very similar games. 133, 111, 130, 112.
So one more meeting with Denver, it looks like, on the calendar in March. Could face them in the postseason, too.
Yes, that would be, maybe it's a couple more meetings. That would be interesting. Some other stuff. The NHL is officially making an announcement on whether the Olympic guys are going to play on Friday.
We're still doing this? We still haven't made a
decision?
decision?
This is a complete nightmare. They have no idea what to do because the NHL guys want to play.
Right, but we talked about this. This isn't like a 1% difference. It's a 40% difference, right? Yeah. But I remember when we first talked about this. I haven't stayed super up to date on this. But it was the neutral zone is 40% smaller.
That reportedly.
I'm out if it's 40%. Anything.
I actually think it helps the Americans.
Could you imagine if we had Olympic football and they made the field 40% smaller?
They played Arena League.
Right.
I imagine, in fairness, Olympic football will have a smaller field. It is flagged.
Right. It's flag football. You're right.
So it may be 40% smaller.
It may be 40% smaller. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know. If you think that the safety of the players is
important,
then just be done.
Then
just make a decision.
You can't let them go. The Marlins have made a trade today.
Excuse me?
Yes, they have.
This is going to be some no name that I'm not going to.
Oh, no. It's the American League stolen base champ, Esturio Ruiz.
What is happening in baseball today? What did they give up?
I mean, look, the Marlins have acquired outfielder Esturio Ruiz for the Los Angeles Dodgers on Monday night in a trade for minor league right-hander Adriano Marrero. The speedy Ruiz, 26, led the American League with 67 stolen bases for the Athletics in 2023.
Who cares?
You don't like his story?
Did you see Anthony Rendon? They bought out his contract. He's done. He's off the Angels. He's restructured and deferred the $38 million that's due to him in 2026.
Did he play a full season for the Angels?
Did he play a full season
like,
for the Angels?
Has he played 162 games?
No. My guess is no, without seeing his baseball reference page in front of me.
Let's go through it.
Now, full season in today's baseball is like if you play 140 or more, and he may have done that his first year, but I would still say no.
Yeah. So his first year in LA, 52 games, 48 games, 47, 43, 57. He never played more than 60 games in a season as an Angel.
What a great deal for the Los Angeles Angels.
I feel bad because the year before that, he had 126 RBIs.
Yeah.
He played 146 games and posted a 7.3 WAR.
And you ready for this? They have to pay every single dollar on that deal. I don't know what they restructured it to, but they got to pay every dollar that they restructured. It's going to do it for us. Tuesday edition of the program in the books. Jim Rome coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.
AM 1060 KDUS